hate dull knives when I'm cooking, so a long time ago I bought this. It's a Dow Strong Gladiator Series 8.5-inch Kiritsuki knife. I like this style of chef knife better than a curved blade chef knife. So I did a bunch of research and found that you don't have to spend a couple $100 for a decent knife that's going to keep an edge. So I got this. And it was pretty sharp out of the box, but I sharpened it to make it super sharp, and it's been over a year since that happened, and this thing is still no problem. And just so you know, I didn't resharpen this for this video. It's crazy sharp still, and I've only honed it like twice in the past year, and I use it every day. It's almost scary how well this thing holds an edge. But then I wanted to personalize this thing, so I etched an octopus on it, because Aquaman. And I posted pictures on Instagram, and everybody said I should do a video for it, but I can't re-etch it. I got these two knives to give to friends of mine as presents a long time ago, and I finally got around to etching them for this video to show you how I did it. And I did these even more fancy than that one. These are still super sharp straight out of the box. This one hasn't been sharpened. And it's been abused from the sanding and everything. Now, getting somebody really nice knives is a good present, but if you personalize them, it makes it super awesome. I know it's past Christmas, and I wanted to get this out before that so that you could do this for somebody as a Christmas present or whatever, but people can get presents all times of the year. And you probably don't want to spend as much time as it takes to do this on some junk knife. But these are inexpensive, and they hold an edge forever, and they have a little sheath with them, and they come with a pin and a little oiling rag, and yeah, not sponsored by these guys, but talk about good knives for a low price. They are awesome. Throw some Amazon links to these and a couple other ones down in the description so it helps you find them easier, and they're affiliate links so they help on my channel. And in true Jairus of all master of none fashion, I will show you all of the ways that I screwed up along the way doing these. This project is riddled with failures. But now let me show you how I made these two ones here. These bad mamma jammas. I'm gonna use this little wire wheel to zip the logos off real quick because they interfere with the designs for these. Or not. I'm gonna use this Scotch-Brite wheel to buff the logos off real quick. Might as well do the whole thing. That way they look even. That looks terrible. And the etch on this is pretty much gonna be the finished product, so I hand sanded it back so that it looks nice again. Full disclosure, I sanded this one too to make sure the etch comes out consistent. This thing is so heavy. Look at the spine on that. That's so dangerous. Love it. It's time to put the stickers on, or stencils, and you could use this like I have, which is just scrap vinyl where I printed my designs onto them with a laserjet printer, but I think inkjet will work too. Or you can use electrical tape, you can draw your own design, you can paint your own design on, but I just printed them out. I'm gonna apply them to the knives, and then I'm gonna cut it out by hand because I don't have a vinyl cutter and it takes forever, but I'm gonna do it anyway because the product is worth the time. Now, if you do it the way that I'm doing, where you print your thing onto a sticker and you're gonna apply that to it, the best way to do it is not to peel the entire backing off of the sticker, but just a little part. That way you can get it located, stick it down, pull the rest of the backing off, and stick it on the whole way. That way it's aligned, because if you put it on and it's misaligned, you're probably gonna screw up your sticker. Hold it up to a light so you can see through it. Can you see through it? I don't know if you can. I can. So I'm gonna line up, and I'm gonna start to stick it on where I removed some of the backing, and that will align the rest of it. I know how good it's gonna look, even if it's not perfect, which is what you should remember throughout this entire process. Now that you have your stencils applied, it's time to cut these out by hand with some kind of little knife, like this or an X-Acto knife. Probably want to see what it looks like, don't you? Super exciting, isn't it? I'll see when I'm done. All right, I gotta be honest. It took longer than I thought to get the stencils cut out to do the etching on these. If you know somebody with a vinyl cutter, have them do it, because doing it by hand sucks. Or you could just paint it on or whatever. Time to etch. I'm using cotton balls and a DC power supply. You dip this in the water, and then when you put it on the metal, it should start to etch. You can hear it bubbling. You don't have to use a DC power supply though. You can use a 9-volt or a DC power converter that you plug into the wall. You can tell it's working because it gets dirty. You don't have to use this. You don't have to use gator clips. You can just use a wire that you tape to it. And you can use cotton swabs instead of cotton balls. All kinds of options. Just as long as you're getting enough amperage and whatnot to make this thing etch. You can also do a Michael Cthulhu style and build a little moat around it, fill it with salt water, lay a piece of metal across the top, and have it just sit in a bath and etch. That way you don't have to sit there and touch it and watch it like I'm doing right now. And don't be afraid to wipe it off occasionally to clean it up, to see how things are going. Using a towel is probably better than using a cotton ball, but This much etch is about how much I want on this one, but on this one, since it's a bigger, heavier knife, I want to etch it a lot deeper because this thing is huge, so I can etch a lot and not have to worry about it. So I'm gonna keep going for a while. Both knives are etched to my satisfaction. I want to do two-tone etches on these, so now it's time for some acid stuff. And the acid is just vinegar. It's acetic acid, 5%. It's not that strong, but people say that it'll work, so let's give it a shot. All right, let this time lapse. This is taking too long. I think it's because it's cold. I'm gonna try to warm this up. Heat gun, maybe? I gotta be careful so I don't screw up the vinyl if I use the heat gun on it though. The reaction creates heat, so if you add heat, it makes the reaction happen faster. The knife is warm. Here's the thing. Vinegar is an acid. Its pH is 2, I believe. Anyway, it'll work eventually. So if you're gonna do this and you got a lot of time to sit around and wait for it to happen, you can use vinegar. So I'm gonna get some muriatic acid, which is hydrochloric acid. This stuff is basically gonna do the same thing, just faster. But you also don't wanna touch this stuff because it burns through your skin, so be careful. Oh, you probably wanna see this up close. All right, here we go. Let that sit. This is taking too long also. I'm gonna heat gun it. Now it's going. I'm gonna make it hotter. Well, it's gonna be done now because the vinyl's starting to come up. I wanna see it. I know you do too. Come on. All right, I'm gonna go inside and rinse this thing off. Wish I had a sink out here. There it is. I burned this one in too deep, so even though I got it down to a nice finish before I started, I'm gonna have to Scotch-Brite wheel this to clean up the edges so it doesn't stick on food too much. And then this part got messed up, and I didn't even do it on this side because I know I'm gonna have to Scotch-Brite wheel this, so time to work on this one. When you do this saltwater etch, you get a little bit of an undercut. So hitting it with this little Scotch-Brite thing takes that edge off and it makes it not stick to food a lot more than if you didn't do it. So I just hit it in all 4 directions, that way the edges aren't quite as sharp. This stuff is nasty in liquid form. You want to wear gloves and you don't want to get it on you. Why is it not bluing? It worked before. Maybe it's dirty. Right, so it's thoroughly cleaned. See if it does anything. I don't understand. I must have contaminated the metal with something because it's working, obviously, in a couple spots. Seems that the more I clean this, the less it wants to work. Still have a way to make it dark. I just didn't want to do it because it takes more time and it's kind of a pain in the butt. To add to the list of mistakes, I forgot to turn the mic on for this entire section of video. And after spending a day trying to clean the metal to get it to rust or blue, I realized that I had used Goo Gone to remove the residual adhesive from the vinyl because I'm lazy and it was sitting right there in front of me instead of going out to the garage and grabbing some acetone to remove it. And Goo Gone has oil in it and it soaked into the metal and it protected it very well. And that is what I'm explaining right now in this video that has no audio. So basically I couldn't cold or hot glue the knives, so after a day of screwing with them I had to change the plan. Being able to turn those etched parts black would have made them stand out and look really good, but I wasn't able to do it. So don't be afraid like I was and waste a whole bunch of time trying to accomplish something that won't be able to be accomplished. I had to do a bunch of rework by re-sanding and cleaning up the knives. I wet sanded them with increasing grits to get them back to a nice finish before I continued the rest of the project. This was incredibly frustrating and ended up adding a couple days to the process. But you can see that even though resanding took a lot of time, it made the knife look really good, so on with the project. Now that I've turned the mic on and sanded these to my satisfaction, which isn't perfect, but it's close enough for me, it's time to throw the vinyl on as the masking for the acid etch. The difficult part here is that I have to line it up with the electro-chemical etch that I did earlier so that it lines up. This is lined up here with the etch. That actually worked out pretty well, except for most of the toner chipped off while I was doing it. I can still see where the design is. Time for acid. It looks sufficiently etched. Oh yeah, that'll show up. See, that worked out pretty well. That's what I was hoping for. I want to do this one differently. I want to polish the edge to make it stand out. First, I've got to block it off with metal tape so that whenever I polish it with the wire wheel, it doesn't rip the tape off. I'm using dividers to get an even line. I haven't seen anybody do this before. Maybe somebody has. I'm hoping that it doesn't transfer too much aluminum to the blade and that it doesn't go through the tape before I get this done. This wire wheel isn't doing a very good job. Scotch-Brite, just not as aggressive. What if I do it this way? I'm happy with that. Doesn't have to be perfect, I just want it to look different than the rest of the knife. It's like a fake grind line or something, like a fake blade bevel. I don't know what it's called. I just thought that would look cool, and I think it does. It's acid time. I hope this looks good when it's done. I didn't really have a plan, but that's the design. I'm gonna need to rinse this off with baking soda water real soon. I should probably go get that. Vinyl's starting to peel. Time to kill it. Didn't get as dark as I would have liked it to, but I think it looks pretty cool. It's not defined enough. I spent this much time on it, I might as well do a little more. All right. Well, that should be sufficient. I'm gonna rinse this thing off. I like that better. I think I'm gonna stop now. Do the other side, and then I'm done with both of them. Finally done. Hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. Pro tip, don't use glue gun on knives to get residual adhesive off. Like I said in the beginning, I'll throw links in the video description to help you find these knives easier if you want to get one for yourself, and they're affiliate links, so it'll help out my channel. And if you want to see little projects like this that I don't make videos of because I didn't know if they were video worthy, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you know. The only reason I did this video now is because I needed a filler video because there were so many problems painting the Aquaman suit that I needed something to fill the time period, and then this project ended up taking forever. But start to finish, this one only took me a day, and it would have been a lot less than that if I had a vinyl cutter. But it's okay, because I had to order stuff online and wait for it to get here so that I could finish the Aquaman suit. But the suit's not the big part of the build. The big part of the build is turning myself into Aquaman. I just need a suit to make me look like him. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see that. It's gonna be epic. Probably see it anyway, even if you don't subscribe, because I'm pretty certain it's gonna go viral. But if you subscribe, you'll get to see it first. And you'll be like, hey, I know that guy. I subscribed to him. And I bet if you go down to the comments right now, somebody's gonna be internet screaming their head off at me for trying to use cold blue on a knife that you use on food. I looked it up to see if it was safe, couldn't find a definitive answer, so I decided to just do a whole video on the topic because it would have been too much for this one. So you can look forward to a very complete video about the chemistry and science behind cold and hot bluing and whether it's safe for you to use on food and stuff. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye. In the next video. Maybe not the next video. Yeah, probably, maybe the next video. I don't know.